Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a while and kind of a lot has happened. So first, I had intended to at least put out a video a month, but obviously February kind of passed and I didn't. So here we are. It's end of March, because that's how timely I am. And yeah, so I guess I'll just kind of say what's been happening. So I got a new job, and I just completed I completed training and everything, right? And as of today, I have finished my first work at home day. So they gave me a computer, monitors, all that jazz, and today was the first day I got to work from home. It was phenomenal. So technically speaking, we get two 15-minute breaks, right? And then we get our half-hour lunch, of course. And it was kind of nice to, I had my cups of coffee, and then on my first, to be honest, I didn't take a 15-minute break because I never do. It was probably more like 10, and I probably only took one. But I washed my cup and everything. I got, cleaned up breakfast, all that stuff, It was nice to not have to drive anywhere. And, I'm wearing a sweatshirt, and I'm wearing jeans. So that's really nice too. I didn't really have to, mess with anything, which, okay, my hair does look decent for this video at least, because in the morning it did not. It was kind of sticking up all over the place because I went to bed with wet hair. So, that would have taken me an extra, 5-7 minutes to try and straighten it all out and make it presentable to actually go out of my apartment. But, I didn't have to do that. So that was really nice. It was nice to kind of chill in the morning. I've never really had any chill in the morning, like during the work week, obviously. I mean, on the weekends, that is what it is. But to not have to rush out the door and rush to work and all that jazz and have to deal with a parking garage. So for the first, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks maybe, we were in one building, and that was all fine and dandy, just a normal standard building with a parking lot. Oh, by the way, what I do, I work with medical records now, so absolutely zero patient contact, and now that I work from home, zero people contact, which might sound weird to some people, but to me, ideal introvert job. So yeah, so when I was training and everything and I was first hired, I went there. Then we moved. So then we were in the headquarters. I guess I could say I work for OSF. I don't know. So we were in the ministry headquarters, right? So that was a whole experience. Seeing nuns just kind of wandering around was very interesting. Obviously nuns are people too. It's just not something you see every day, full habit and everything. Still the best thing I've ever seen in my life though is nuns riding mopeds. When I went to the Vatican City, habit and everything with a little helmet on top of the habit and everything, was awesome. But, yeah, so first, we were stuck in the basement, which might sound, ooh, basement, but it was a big conference room. So we each had our own table. We were spread out. We weren't on top of each other because there were 5 of us training, plus our trainer, okay? So I was hired in roughly the same as this other girl. I was a week behind her because of the event game that I went to in Milwaukee for LARP. But yeah, so it started middle of January, end of January. And, we had, like I said, we were in the basement. We were there for exactly a day and a half. Okay. So then we were moved up to the second floor where the people who want to work in office, crazy people, have their desks, their cubicles, and everything like that. So we were moved into this tiny room. So tiny that we had 2 people to a table that should normally only have 1. We use 2 monitors in our job. It's pretty much required. It would be pretty hard not to have 2 monitors. And we had to have them stacked on top of each other. So a lot of whenever we needed to read something. Okay, so not ideal. And we expressed this, and the chairs that we had were not at all comfortable, not at all up to ergonomic standards, which, you know, when you're first hired, you always, whenever you're working in an office, you get those basically presentation and test, whatever, like, ooh, these are ergonomic things, you know, your chair should be, you know, so high, it should support your back, the arms, the way your feet should be. Yeah, these chairs went to like lower back, maybe the middle of my back, and I'm short, and they were just awful, right? So complained about that, complained about the room. Finally, we were moved to a bigger room. So where we each had our own table again. It was awesome. And I say table because there are not desks. There are no drawers. There are no nothing. Okay, which is fine for us because we're just training, yada yada. However, our trainer, who has to be there while there's trainees, had no place to store anything. No filing cabinet, no nothing, right? So that sucks. Okay, so then, because the room was still a bit crowded and the desks were not ideally placed, not the best to fit the room, and because we had more trainers or trainees than normal, the girl who started the week before me is one that wants to stay in the office. So my trainer, which is so funny because it's the same trainer I had at my previous job. So it tells you how my previous job went. But so she said, hey, why doesn't, I'll just say Z, I won't say her name, go out to her desk, out to her cubicle. You know, she'll still have access to me. She can still ask questions, all that stuff. Shot down immediately. Okay. Well then, like a day later it was, oh, well, you know, the 2 of them can go out. Meaning me, who is not going to work in the office, and Z, who is going to work in the office. So I had to sit at what will be one of the other dudes who wants to stay in the office. Again, these people are crazy. So I had to sit in his desk, which obviously, you know, he's not done training, so it was all fine. I'm not taking up a room I didn't, you know, that someone needed. But just the fact that I had to move everything again. And then, you know, a week later, I had to move everything home. So it was just a lot of moving. A lot of moving. Just kind of crazy. But I'm finally in my forever spot, which is my apartment. And first day here, I had 2 tornado sirens go off. 'Tis the season. They went off in Peoria as well. And so I messaged my trainer, who I guess isn't my trainer anymore because I'm out of training. I don't know, it's weird. To make sure everybody was okay there and to make sure that she personally was okay because her house was destroyed by a tornado a few years ago. So she's obviously a little on edge when there's sirens and things going off. But they were in the basement, so, you know, they were all fine. I didn't hear about a touchdown in her hometown, so hopefully everything's okay there. I did hear of a couple touchdowns, but I don't know anything about extent of damage or anything like that yet. Now, as you can see how bright this room is, I mean, even though I have a light on, it's all like sunshine and rainbows outside right now. Well, actually, the rainbow's my flag, but you know what I mean. So it's crazy as fast as they come and go, because really it's only been a couple hours. And like I said, they went off twice. So the first time I was like, oh, we're in the clear. You know, it ended at 3 o'clock, you know, whatever, that's fine. And then they went off again. So, found out just how truly terrified my cat Ren is of storms and things, because it took a lot of coaxing to get her to come out from under my bed, because I kind of wanted her with me. I had to bribe her with treats. And even that, I had to shake the package a few times, you know, like, hey, come on. And then she immediately went back under my bed. So, yeah, that would be a real pain in the arse if I had to actually, like, evacuate, like, get out, because she's not gonna want to come very easily. Even tried wrapping her in a blanket and everything, and she didn't want to sit with me. She's like, nope, going back under the bed. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I could have shut my door, and then she wouldn't have been able to go in there, but I thought that was kind of mean also. So if she felt safer under my bed, fine. Obviously nothing happened here. Like I said, we did have the sirens go off twice, but that's always, you know, it's a wide area. So nothing personally here, and knock on wood, no tornado has actually ever landed in my city proper. It's always been like north or south, but never in my city proper. The only one, like, maybe was like years and years and years ago, and it hit what used to be our mall. We don't even have a mall anymore. The sign. So, but we don't know if it was actually a tornado or not. So, but yeah, so it's been an eventful afternoon, and I thought, since I am now completely settled and everything, I could record a video and maybe get back into that, because, you know, now there's no drive time. There's even that extra, like, half-hour-ish of sleep that I had, I feel like did me wonders. I was not nearly as tired as I was this morning when I got up and everything. It was great. And I didn't go to bed any earlier than I normally do either, so that's not the reason. But yeah, let's see what else happened. Oh, I had an ice show. I became an ice skating instructor. I don't even know if I mentioned that before, but yeah, I taught ice skating. It was super, super fun. The ice show was the 8th or 9th. I can't quite remember now. One of those days. It was a Saturday. And my class did great. I had to kind of poke out, because, like, you know, there's a curtain and everything, but I kind of stood on the side of the curtain so I could see them too, because I wanted to watch them, because I was proud. I was proud of our two oldest girls, which I say oldest, they're like 10 and 11 or something like that. We had one in the front and one in the back to round up the stragglers, and they both did fantastic. I loved it. It was so much fun. I was part of the instructor routine. And they said my name, which, you know, they said my last name wrong, because everybody does. That's fine. But it's spelled right on the back of this, so that's all that matters, right? Which I guess does it actually say? No, it doesn't. Okay, I didn't just dox myself. Not that saying the city where I live in is gonna be that big of a deal, but but no, it was the 50th year, as you can see, 50 years, and so they pulled from a whole bunch of previous ice shows, and there was Cats, which I thought was absolutely amazing, although they used the movie music, which I still have not seen the movie of Cats. I've only ever seen we had it on VHS. It was a VHS of the original Broadway production of Cats, okay? Which I fell in love with because of my very first ice show back in '96 was Cats. So I became obsessed with Cats after that, and I still am to this day. Love it. Still have not seen the movie because I refuse. But yeah, a couple of the girls skated to Cats, just a couple, a few songs like, blended together and stuff. So that was awesome. And then so I taught pre-alpha. Well, alpha skated to Wizard of Oz. So that was awesome because that was my last ice show that I did before going to college in 2006. So yeah, that was a trip down memory lane. And then there were a couple other songs that were in there that I recognized from being in shows that I was in before. And it was just a lot of fun. I'll post a picture of myself and my co-teacher here. So she hates pictures more than I do, so that's why she has that look on her face. She's also only 18, so pretty much still a child, which I had to constantly remind myself of whenever we taught together. But it was still a lot of fun. And when it just got dark, when it was all over and we were getting ready to leave and everything, and I was walking out, I'm like, I almost want to cry. Like, it's already over. I also talked to the director again, and I said, I don't know exactly how this works, but I am more than interested in coming back next year. And she looked at me and she goes, I didn't think you had a choice. So I apparently did a good enough job that she wants me to come back. So I am super excited for that again. But that won't be until October. So I've got a ways to go. But yeah, what else is new? Not a whole lot. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do I guess vlogs, if you will, more regularly now that things have settled down. I'm done with training. I'm home, and no more ice skating. It was only Mondays and Saturdays, but still, it was a lot of fun. There were 2 classes on Monday, 1 on Saturday. So we also had one of the biggest classes and one of the biggest classes that did the ice show. So woohoo, go us. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. So I will hopefully see you soon. And I hope you have a good rest of your day, week, month, year, all that jazz in case I don't come back. Just kidding. I'm gonna come back, I promise. Okay. Bye.